What is up, everyone? I'm Dr. Jake Swart with Athletes Potential, and today we are going to talk about the push-up. Now, this is a position or a movement that is performed all the time. It's fundamental and what you should be doing in a good way to improve upper body strength. Now, the issue with this is I see this movement performed wrong so many times in the gym, and there's a couple of reasons why. One is those elbows are either flaring out too wide or conversely too narrow. That is a thing. I'll talk about why one is better than the other here in a second, and also shoulder blade position with your push-up, okay? And I'll talk about that here in a second too. So the first one, the elbow position. So what I will typically see somebody do a push-up, when they're gonna do it incorrectly, is I'll see them come way out wide with their hands, and then their elbows come all the way out this way here. I call these gym class push-ups because most of the time when I see these, it's what's done a lot in like gym classes or people who don't do a ton of push-ups, and this is what kind of gets taught in school for whatever reason. But that's wrong, because when we get way out wide like this here, what that does is it puts a ton of stress on the top of your shoulder. We've got this structure called your AC joint, and that joint or that area of top of your shoulder has a lot of structures that go through there, and you can kind of pinch something called your biceps tendon, your supraspinatus, all these different muscles that kind of run right through here that cause a lot of pain in the front of that shoulder. Now, what happens if you get too narrow, this is a fine compensation to make, but what the point of the push-up is to get total upper body strength, and we'd like to get a little bit more of our drivers of our upper body, and that's our chest here. So if you get a little too narrow, and that's going to be a lot of tricep work, and that's so much of your chest. If I had to choose one over the other, I'd much rather you glue those elbows in. That's going to keep that shoulder joint nice and safe, but you may not be getting the best bang for your buck in terms of what that exercise is meant to be doing for you. So instead of getting in really narrow here, so looking like this, coming in, hitting a really narrow push-up, and then coming back up, instead of doing that or getting all the way out and forming more of a T, I'll tell people I want you to look more like an arrow. So your elbows should be kind of like splitting the difference there. So instead of your elbows coming all the way out this way here, when you go to hit that push-up, you should be trying to make an arrow with your elbows here. And you're gonna come here, coming back, straight up. Now, another thing with that, or the other issue that I typically see with push-ups, is this is gonna be a little bit tougher for you to be able to see, but you lose control of your shoulder blades, and all that force kind of comes down on your shoulders here. So what I'll typically see when somebody's trying to hit a push-up or get better at their push-ups, they'll come here, they'll let their shoulder blades kind of come down this way. I don't know if you can see that. So instead of me staying nice and strong right here, you kind of come down here, and then you try to hit a push-up. Now the issue with that, you can probably see with me, it didn't look very comfortable, because it's not. What will typically happen is, again, like I kind of talked about, when I come in here, I let my shoulder blades come together, and then I let my elbows bend. What you're doing is you're losing all that tension and all that ability for you to have a nice, strong, stable surface for your arms to be able to push against the ground with. So being able to, so this is where drills like a push-up plus come into play. So if you're in the gym, a nice warm-up for you to be able to do would be to come in here and then just let your shoulder blades relax, and then push apart this way. Push as high as you can. Let it relax. Push all the way out. By holding this position here, you know what that kind of feels like, and then you can know, like, okay, that's my rock solid position here. Now I'm gonna go down, keep that arrow, point back up, or push back up. Now, if you can't do that, or you can't do it very efficiently, you can only hit one or two, you're trying to grow and improve your push-ups, there's a couple modifications you can make. One of them, the most common modified position, the most modified version of a push-up, is simply to go from your knees. However, I see this done wrong, both in the clinic and in the gym all the time. So when you go from your knees, so I'll come right here, what I'll typically see people do is they're right here, and now they're trying to do their push-ups, right? You can see it, I'm looking more like a seesaw more than doing a traditional push-up. So I want you to get your hips down as if you're exact same position from your toes, but now it's from your knees. I keep my shoulders in a nice rock solid position here. I keep that A position, my hips stay in line with my shoulders, and I come down this way and back up, okay? Now, the next progression you can do to start working from your toes is actually to grab a band. So this is just a normal jump stretch band that we have that you'll see in a lot of different gyms. You can choose a different resistance, but then you're just gonna essentially fold it into two and create a smaller loop, just like so. And then you're going to put it up around your elbows, and this is gonna give you a nice spring effect to get out of that bottom position, which is where a lot of people struggle with. So you're gonna come here. Again, I form a nice A with my elbows. I'm gonna rock down this way. That spring is gonna pop me right back up. Again, I'm coming down, right back up. So those are my two favorite modifications to make, working both from the knees instead of your feet, which would decrease the lever arm of the push-up, which would decrease the amount of weight that you're pushing up, or decreasing the load a little bit by using a band to kind of spring out of that tough bottom position. But really, you're looking to make an A with your arms versus a T or staying in too narrow, and then you really want to keep those shoulder blades in a nice locked-in position. Don't let them collapse together when you're doing those push-ups. Thanks, y'all.